Hi guys. Today I'm going to talk about a little bit about my testimony. I don't know if I'm going to have enough time to tell you everything, but I'm going to try. Like I mentioned before, I was born and raised in a Christian family with three sisters, and my mom is also a Christian singer. She has several records. So we travel a lot when she was invited to go to different churches, and I loved going there and just sitting right in the front and just watching my mom sing, and at the same time she would also preach. But I never saw myself singing in any way. I just enjoy watching her, and it was nice to go to different churches, and of course go home. In my where I'm from, Puerto Rico, you went to church every day. There was always something going on each day, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we were always in church, involved with the youth, involved with kids, whatever. It was a lot of fun. And even though I was in church and my family was Christian, not only my parents, but I had aunts and uncles and cousins who all went to the same church. To me, God was very far away, very far away. And I remember making a lot of promises to Him, like, if you do this, I'll do this. If you do this, I'll do that. And I never kept my promises, never. The reality is that I didn't know what it was to have a relationship with God. I was learning, I had great teachers, Bible school, but I didn't know that He could help me in every area of my life. When I became a teenager and we moved to United States, I started liking boys, and I was the kind of girl that wanted to be out, wanted to have a good time. I thought I was missing out on a bunch of stuff. And my parents were very protective because we were four girls. We all had friends. We all wanted to go out. So there were rules that were set in my home, and I didn't want to follow them. My parents, we had a curfew in the house. We only had one car, so we had to share the car. Of course, the phone was always ringing, boys calling, girls calling. So it was chaos in my home. And even though I had three sisters, we were very separated. Each one had their own friends, had their boyfriend, and we were not really that close. I felt really lonely. Lonely. My parents worked a lot. We had to work to help my parents when we moved here to Florida. And I wanted to be free. I thought that I wanted freedom. And as soon as I turned 18, I decided to marry a guy that I was talking to. And that didn't go so well. It was actually hell. We were so young. We didn't love each other. We didn't even know each other. And I was getting really depressed because I had no relationship with this guy, even though I thought that it was going to be good and that he loved me and I loved him. I didn't know what love was. And I didn't have a relationship with God, so I was trying to do things my way. I lied to get things my way. I was getting really depressed because the relationship wasn't going anywhere. I didn't trust him. We were fighting all the time. Things were not getting paid, like bills were not getting paid. And I finally opened my mouth and I told my parents what was happening, and I ended up getting divorced 6 months later. By the grace of God, really. I didn't have a child. We were able to divorce, and I moved back with my parents. They welcomed me in and try to help me out because it wasn't a really easy situation. You know, I was still 19 years old. I had all kinds of bills. I was trying to get divorced, trying to find a lawyer, but we did. And then I don't know, 6 months later or so, I started dating a guy that I knew from high school, and that person introduced me to drugs. I never got addicted, thank God. I never felt like I was addicted to pot and ecstasy and whatever he would offer me. I never got addicted to it. I only did it to feel loved and to feel accepted. It was what it was doing, and it was there, then I did it. And then I would come home and pretend nothing was happening, lie to my parents, lie to my family. I was a liar. I lied about everything. I didn't know who I was. After that relationship of 4 years, we broke up, and I don't know how much time, but I ended up making friends with this girl. This girl introduced me to an older crowd, and they were also involved in drugs. I started dating a guy, and he was into ecstasy and pills, and again I fell into it, just looking for acceptance and looking to feel wanted and love. I started doing that again. When all this is happening, God was always there. There was this inner voice that would softly talk to me. It would kind of make me see the whole picture from outside on what was happening. I wasn't going anywhere with the kind of lifestyle I was having. These were not people that care about me. I thought that the guy loved me, and again, by the grace of God, even though they were involved in all that, or the guy that I was dating was involved in that, he protected me somehow. He protected me. When we would go out, he protected me. And I felt protected, but it wasn't him, it was God, and I didn't even know that. And he would try to call me out. There was one time I was at the club, and I was on the second floor, and I was looking down, and I was high, and it was late, music was loud. And I heard this voice saying, "Wendelise, what are you doing here?" I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that night. And that's how I felt like I would do all these things to fit in, but it just wasn't me. It wasn't me, and I didn't even know what I wanted. I would become whatever you wanted me to become. Whatever friends I was hanging out with, I would be like them. If I was dating someone this way, then I would be that way. I was so lost, so lost. I knew I needed to get out of the relationship. I knew I wasn't going anywhere. My parents were not happy about it. They were very concerned about me. I kept moving in, moving out, moving in, moving out. They took me back every time, just trying to help me out. But I would leave again, and I would get involved again in that relationship. I finally just started praying to God, help me. Help me to get out of this relationship. Help me to not love him anymore. And he did. I broke up with the guy, and I went back to my parents' house. I went back to church, and I started searching. I started spending time with myself and my family, and just trying to, I don't know, just trying to find a way to build a life for my own, not for anybody else. So I felt like I was living for the other person, or for the people that I was hanging out with. You know, what about me? I knew nothing about me. I was doing nothing for me. And I was working. I started going to hair school, which it didn't go so well because I was so busy with working full time, and I had my apartment and things like that. It was really difficult to focus in school, even though I was trying to do something with my life. But months later is when I met my husband. And I remember because when I met him that night, the first thing I asked him was, "Do you believe in God?" And he was not expecting that question, but he said yes. I said, "Do you believe that there's hell and that there's heaven, and then when you die you will go to one of those places?" And he said yes. And I'm like, okay, you're good. But we became friends, and it's like I felt like I knew him. We laughed so much, and then we ended up getting married. And now we've been married. We're going now on 12 years. I have 2 beautiful daughters. But when I had my second daughter about 4 years ago, I decided to stay home and take care of her because daycare was so expensive. And when I found myself at home and I would put the baby to sleep, I just dived right in and I said, "This is it, God. Just you and me." And I went after God just head on. I wanted to make sure that the first thing that would come to my head was him, and that every day I had a continuous communication with him. And that's how he started teaching me how to talk and how to think. And I feel like how I explained in my video, he started peeling this mask, all these layers, because I didn't know that Wanderlise was in there. And this is what's happening now. He still teaches me because I was so used to lying and not going after what was real, what was truth. And now that he's all truth, he found me, he's teaching me, he's guiding me. I don't ever want to go back. I don't ever want to go back. You know there's a God, and you know there's changes you have to do in your life. You get on your knees and you cry out to Jesus. And you say, "Jesus, help me." Which is what I did not know, that he could help you in any area of your life. Now I ask him to help me at work, to help me with my kids, to help me with my husband, and to just give me his desire every day, to seek him more, to never give up, to stay persistent. You can do it with Jesus. He will change your life. Just make a decision that today is the day. No more. No more of your ways. No more of your doubt. Just go after Jesus, and he will guide you. Well, I've been wanting to do this for a while, and I finally did it. I pretty much told you everything. That's my testimony. I love Jesus, and there's no going back. I don't ever want to go back. Every day is an adventure. Don't think God's stuff are boring. He is real, and he loves you. Just get ready. Love you guys.